Come on, come here, come a little closer. Don't be afraid.
Aubre Fox leads in rooms where ambition is visible. As CEO of AFox Interiors and founder of the Next Level Collective, she has created spaces where women don't just network. They measure themselves against each other, stretch, compete, collaborate, and evolve. When you build communities of ambitious women, you see things clearly. You see the confidence wobble. You see comparison operate quietly. You see who grows and who stalls, and you see what leadership actually costs. Aubre has lived that evolution personally and observed it at scale. This conversation goes beyond success stories. It examines the interior work required to lead publicly and build spaces that hold other powerful women. Aubre, I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for coming in.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for asking me.
I'm so glad that you're a part of this series because you have this amazing view and vantage point because of what you have built with Next Level Collective. Tell us a little bit about that. Where did it come from? Where did you start?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, this is our 9th year.
Amazing.
I'm in shock. I don't know that I ever imagined us getting here. But yeah, we were just founded on the fact that when, like, as young professionals and women coming out of college, we didn't feel like we belonged anywhere. And we'd attend events and we felt that people just didn't really care. And so, we were like, well, we'll do our own thing. So that is exactly what we did. So yeah, we just started. We're like, okay, I think Instagram was starting to be a place where people were featuring their businesses, showing more about what they were doing. And it just turned into, okay, well, let's have somebody who runs social media accounts come in and teach us what we should be doing. Let's have somebody in finance come in and teach us what we should be doing. And you know what? How about we give back to the community? Because that'd be something fun to do.
Yeah.
So we just started pulling in all these elements of the kind of community that we wanted to create. And then we just went for it. And, 9 years later, here we are with a lot more structure, a lot of lives touched and changed, even from just the events that we do for community service and our members and people that have chosen to come with us along on the journey.
Yeah. I love that so much. It's interesting because I'm working on this piece right now, but what we're really looking at in it is the leadership model, the leadership blueprint, right? And the reality is women have only been in leadership roles in a meaningful way for about the last 40, 45 years or so because we weren't allowed to be, right? So I always remind people, like, this is still very new. And what you kind of talked about in the beginning there, this not really feeling like I fit in or not really feeling like I'm being taken seriously. Like this is what I'm seeing as well on like a national and international level is women trying to squeeze themselves into these tiny little cubbies that were really designed for a man. And then when she gets there, there's still not a celebration. And I love that you've created this container for women because at least from my perspective, and I certainly love yours, to me, women thrive when they can collaborate and they thrive in community. Is that what you've seen?
Yeah, definitely. Off camera, we were just talking 2 seconds ago about how relationships that are formed at events.
Yeah.
And the amount of collaboration within our community and even just by name passing and referral base, it's been massive. And it's been so fun to watch. I personally love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I had the opportunity to be a part of your retreat last year, and the ladies are just so wonderful. And it's so great to see them supporting one another and the friendships that they're building. And many of them are early on in their journey, and that is the scariest part, right?
It is.
So having that support network is just absolutely huge.
Yeah. It's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride. And just to be able to look back and see the transformation in myself and even other members of when we first met them and where they are now has been very cool to watch. Too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for you, I mean, there was obviously something very ambitious in you since you decided to not only become an entrepreneur, but then also build this whole other thing. So you're a little bit of a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How did you, where did you first find this ambition and how did you interpret it?
That's a good question. I think one day I realized that the amount of dedication that I give to something when I do it, in the normal workforce, I think would be considered extreme. Like when I'm loyal, I am loyal. Like I am this company. I show up. I go to extracurricular activities. I go network for this company. I do all the things that other people are like, they're not paying me. And my sense was always like, this will come back for me. Even if I wasn't getting paid for something like to attend like a business event or something, I was like, you know what, it'll come back for me. And one day I realized I was like, I work so hard for other people, so hard. Like imagine if I actually worked that hard for myself.
Yeah.
And could tweak my life a little bit more and just kind of see where that goes.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I was just like, let's go.
I love that. I love that. That was very relatable for my experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, like I doubled, tripled my portfolio in 2 years. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Y'all taking too much of that.
Right. I'm like, I've created programs for different companies. Like, here, you didn't even offer this before. I'll show you how to do this. Like I was a very valuable asset to a lot of companies.
Yeah.
And because I realized I'm a problem solver and I love the problem and I love the challenge and I love all of that nitty gritty stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's what gives me the satisfaction of like, yes, I did it.
Yeah.
So when I noticed that, I was like, ooh, I'm not writing another resume.
I love that. Now, for a lot of people, I've seen this so many times, it's like they're really good at something, right? Mm-hmm. Like for you, you're an interior designer, for somebody else, it might be I'm a, video producer or I'm a hairstylist. And then they go to start their business and they realize that being an entrepreneur means you have to have a whole host of skill sets above and beyond your actual expertise.
Yeah.
And for you, like when you shifted into this entrepreneurial mode and this, I know you were always a leader, that's just in your blood, but definitely this higher executive leadership role, did that come natural to you or how did you grow into that?
I think it came natural to me in a sense of like being a leader. Mm-hmm. But like looking back, it's funny because there's like younger Aubrey that was kind of like hidden and just wanted to fly under the radar. Mm-hmm. And then one day I remember my cousin asked me one day, there was like a yellow car that drove by or something. And she was like, oh my God, would you drive a yellow car? And I was like, no, I would never drive a yellow car. Like, oh, that's too loud. That's too much, And then I don't know what happened, something in my life, but literally I became the girl that wants to drive the yellow car. And I did. I became her. I got a yellow Ford Escape. I thought it was the cutest thing going. I drove her into the ground. But like, that's when I was like, oh, okay. No, like show up, do the thing, And so that's when I think I realized I was like, I can lead. Mm-hmm. And I grew up playing sports too. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is a newer mentality, but I was not going to the WNBA, I wasn't the best player on the team. I gave it everything I had, but like, I'm a firm believer that you can lead and not be the MVP.
Yeah.
And I think that having that mentality has brought me through these businesses of like, you can lead. You don't have to know all the things. You need to have the army of people that can do the things.
Oh, that is gold. I love that. You can lead and you don't have to be the MVP. Oh, please give yourself permission, sis. That is so good. I see that a lot because I think for women, up until a couple of years ago, 95% of my clientele was male, and like I did have the opportunity to work with women and I loved working with women. There weren't as many of them, or at least I wasn't finding them. And when I really started to work with women, I noticed there were all these things that were kind of catching them up that I'm like, man, my male clients just like never even thought about that. And like the example I could give that was really the one that just almost knocked me out of my chair was, no matter what your body type is, it's like, to me, it's irrelevant, right? It's really about loving the skin that you're in and taking up space no matter what. And what was so interesting to me was like, if my female clients felt like they had put on 10 pounds or they were 15 pounds overweight, I couldn't get them on a stage. I couldn't get them behind a microphone. I couldn't get them in front of a camera. My male clients never even crossed their mind. Right?
No, of course it didn't.
Never even crossed their mind. And I'm like, oh my God.
They're just like, I'm here.
Right. And I'm
amazing. I had a great Thanksgiving.
And maybe I'm 50 pounds overweight, but that doesn't have anything to do with the material I'm here to share. Right. And that was kind of my moment of being like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There are things that are affecting women in a very different way than they're affecting men. And because I'm a woman and because I'm a female entrepreneur and a mother and a wife and all those things, I have this really unique perspective that I can share with them to help them overcome some of those things. And I know for you, like, and same, right? Like motherhood, it plays a role. And I think for women, there's also this challenge of how do I juggle, all of the responsibilities of being an entrepreneur and being a leader and being that person that other people go to solve their problems while also being an attentive wife, being a devoted mother. And then maybe I can find a little bit of time in there, right, for myself. So how has motherhood, and I know you're a wife, and like, how has that shaped, and what are the things you've wrestled with over the years?
So it's been a journey for real. And I know they say too, like, entrepreneurship is basically it's a journey to find yourself and develop yourself. And if you're not here for it, like,
don't start.
Walk away. And I have learned a lot about myself, and I feel like the journey that I have had has given me the tools. So my son is about to turn 4.
Oh,
I know. I can't believe it, like, so fast. And so actually after I had my son, I had a lot of health issues. And basically I came out of like postpartum. I had 2 autoimmune diseases and chronic pain. I was dealing with all of this horrible things. And I read a book that was called The Way Out, and it was about chronic pain. And that kind of led me down this journey of how you can train your brain around different things. And that leads me down like the neuroplasticity route, which I am obsessed with. And it's literally like I had to train. Now, I still have problems. I still have issues. Like I used to not be able to get out of bed for days. But that has given me so much in a sense of I have been able to work with my body, work with my brain, teach myself how to do some things, and also be really empathetic towards what other mothers are going through. Because I feel like until you're in that situation of having kids or whatever you choose, it's like you don't know until you're there.
Yeah.
And, maybe pre-child Aubrey was maybe not cutting all the women a little slack that were new moms because I wasn't there and I didn't get it. Yeah. And now I'm just like, let me show up. How can I help? Let me bring you a pizza. And so I think just the journey of dealing with all of that and then being able to realize that you can train your brain to be a good person. You can train your brain to be a bad person. You can be positive. You can look for all the great things, or you can choose the opposite. And it's really whatever you want to do with it. And my choice was to get out of pain, is that I needed to, maybe push through a little more, give myself some grace, but also like learn how to deal with what I got.
Yeah.
And use those lessons towards getting myself to the next step of 1, feeling better, and then 2, continuing to build businesses while I felt like crap.
Oh my goodness. Also an autoimmune girly. And I think you probably are already aware of this because you're in the family, but autoimmune is like mostly affects women.
Yes.
right? Significantly.
Yeah. And a lot postpartum.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, was the autoimmune, did that come in the postpartum or did you have that? Okay.
I was living life before.
Okay.
And
So
then I got hit with a ton of bricks.
this I feel like is also a super common thing that I guess maybe I didn't realize before just how common it was. And I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there that's done some research on this, but there seems to be some kind of correlation between chronic pain, autoimmune conditions, and hyperachievers.
Yes.
As well as like trauma, and there's some other things that fall into that category as well. But as I was looking into this because I have been very intrigued by this.
Yeah.
And one of the most common things that they keep finding is women who are suppressing emotions.
I did a lot of that. A lot of that. Because I was like, I am tough. I am strong. I will. And that was not necessarily the brain space that I needed to be in.
Yeah.
And you just got to let it go and be okay with that. And that's really tough too, right? Because I'm like, I'm going to put my face on and I will go do the thing I said I'm going to do. And then your body's like, nope.
Like no matter what. Yeah. No, I was totally like it's still something I'm working on, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like I had to have a talk with my coach last week because it's just the start of this year it was like someone went, and it's just, I haven't stopped. I have not stopped. Like it was like New Year's and it's just been go mode, which has been incredible. But like last week she called me and I answered the phone and she was like, I can hear it in your voice. Like you are exhausted. And I'm like, I know, like I plan on resting, but like taking time off, like there can be some real challenges. And when I think about women in leadership, women in entrepreneurship who are also juggling all of these other personal expectations, right?
Yeah.
And then you throw all of that into a big cocktail glass and we're seeing a lot more of these health effects. And I just feel like women's wellness, when we're talking about leadership and entrepreneurship, like that has to be part of the conversation, right? Like what do you see from your perspective as you're working with all these women?
I see a lot of burnout, which makes me very frustrated because I don't want to see my friends live that way. And I think that, you really have to be super in tuned to yourself and how you're feeling. Like you said it a minute ago, that something similar happened to me of like somebody I work with said to me, are you okay? Like when somebody can hear it in your voice and you don't even see them, you're just on the phone and they're like, are you all right? And you're like, well, now that I take a second to ask myself that question, no, I'm not.
Okay.
So now since we've realized the problem, we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because if you just keep pushing it down the road, it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve your clients. It's not going to serve your family. And so that is like one of my like main priorities too, is just like the help and the support of like reaching out, whether it be like an actual healthcare professional. I actually do yoga therapy, which has been instrumental to my chronic pain.
Yes.
And just feeling like a good person that I feel like I want to get up in the morning and do the thing.
Yeah.
And keep me rejuvenated. So it's definitely been a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And I don't, same in terms of like, I don't know that I have it all figured out yet. And I'm still working on that. I do have a wellness afternoon scheduled for myself, which I'm really proud of because that was not even a thing ever. And and I'm like, okay, but what I realized was that there was a story in my head about like do. And it's not, and you and I, we already know we got a lot in common in our personalities.
Yeah.
It's like I have a lot of willpower. I can will almost anything, but a lot of times at my own expense.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm helping it. And my business coach last year made me take a week off. I had an episode with her. We talked about it. Because I remember she was like, you have to take 7 days off. And I was like, in a row? And she was like,
you're like, could I sprinkle them in?
Right? I was trying to negotiate
Is there a sprinkle policy?
She's like, in a row, you know? And I did it and it was hard and it felt so unnatural.
Yeah.
And there was definitely some anxiety. And I took that week off. And at the end of that week, I was crystal clear on my vision of what I was going to build next.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back, that was the end of July last year. I went back to my business. I threw everything in the garbage that I had built. I just deleted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, knowing what I know now, what would I build? And I rebuilt everything from scratch in August. And that is the work that has completely exploded my business over the last 8 months, right? And it was like, now what I'm realizing is that rest is, I'm more productive when I rest than when I don't rest. But I had this story about like never stopping.
It seems so counterintuitive. And then I totally get that. It's like the clarity comes, you realign your focus. Like I was telling you, I was just back, I went to the National Kitchen and Bath Show last week, the Builder Show. And even though I ran my little booty off to see all the vendors and everything, even just taking a break away from the snow and seeing some sunshine. And I just felt like, okay, this was a great recenter of what's next and how is it going to get done? Because if we don't take those moments, right, we're hurting ourselves in the long run, because next time you crash, you're going to crash harder.
Oh, it's true.
And then to get back up from that harder crash, it's not like, it's more than a day.
Absolutely.
You know? And your body, it's just taking a toll on your body, on your mind, and you're not serving yourself or anybody around you.
Yeah. I had a wonderful mentor once who was like, I remember just telling her, like, I was crying and I was burnt out. I was totally burnt out. I didn't realize I was totally burnt out, you know.
Sometimes you can't even see it until you train yourself to look for it.
And I was like crying and I was talking to her and she was like, honey, exhaustion, makes a coward out of all of us. And I was like, ooh. First of all, I don't like that coward word.
I know. Don't even say that in my direction. Yeah, don't say that to me.
And then it occurred to me that like, oh my gosh, like maybe I'm not miserable and I hate everything. Maybe I'm just tired.
Right.
Yeah.
I
need some rest.
Maybe I need to like go on a date.
Right. Like go to the beach.
I was just
take a walk.
Put your feet in some sand.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But, you know, with women, I feel like we have, first of all, we've got the external pieces, right? Where it's like we're trying to fit into this, it's still a man's world and we're slowly taking it, our side back, but we're still trying to fit into these masculine spaces. Then we have, in most cases, what I would say is an unrealistic expectation of what we can be responsible for. And we put this burden, I've got to be perfect entrepreneur, a perfect wife, a perfect mom, a perfect caretaker, a perfect homemaker, a perfect friend, you know, and then I got to get my self-care in, right? On top of all of that.
Yeah.
And then once we even get beyond all that, there are these outdated stigmas and we're lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
All of us right now, but it is still prevalent where there's this competition and comparison that I feel like is totally on its way out. Praise God.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, like you get to see all these women all the time. And I know we're in a season where we're turning that, but what does that look like from where you sit?
So something that I like to think about when people ask me about this is where I live. There are, usually I have this fact ready to go. 4 Wegmans within 15 miles. Maybe 5. We'll go for 4.
All right.
4 within 15 miles. Wegmans can serve that many people. And mind you, there's still a Tops in there sprinkled in.
Aldi's.
There's a couple Aldi's.
Right.
Trader Joe's. Who knows?
Walmart.
Right? And I mean, at this point, you might even consider that Wegmans is competing with themselves, but they're not because there is so much. They can there's so much to go around. There are enough people to fill all 4 of those stores and the other stores.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very true as far as like this competition aspect. I don't think that anybody can do what I do. I don't think anybody can do what you do because we are so specific in who we are, how we live our lives, in our authenticity, that I think that there just is no competition. Like there is no competition. My competition is me. And I know this sounds like cheesy, but I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that. If I didn't get a job or if something didn't happen for me, that's because maybe I need to fix this one thing. Or maybe that person wasn't even right for me. And that's okay too. I'd rather find my people.
Yes.
You know? And like, if you look at Cody Sanchez and Mel Robbins, and some of these like famous podcasters, they have each other on each other's shows. So obviously, first of all, you can listen to more than one podcast.
Right.
That's real. Right? We can do that. Okay, great. What else? We can have overlapping communities. You can promote each other. And also there's just the fact that maybe Mel Robbins people are going to listen to Cody and maybe like her a little more, which is fine because Mel wants her people.
Right.
Cody wants her people. You want your people. I want my people.
Yeah.
And sometimes people come and go, obviously. Like, they're not yours forever. Maybe that's just a path.
Right.
But I like that you said that you think it's on the way out. I am here for it. And I think that the more women that feel the way that we do, it's a better place to live.
Absolutely.
Mentally and emotionally. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I couldn't agree with you more in terms of like finding your people, right? Like, I know who my girl is.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that other ladies aren't drawn to it and I'm going to serve them. Absolutely. But
yeah.
I was talking with my content and social media team yesterday. We were like brainstorming. And one of the things my social media manager said, so I tell my girlies, I'm like, listen, do not tell me what you think I want to hear.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I don't care that I'm your boss. I don't even like that word. Like, I need you to tell me whatever it is that you need to tell me so that we can grow and get better. So she did.
Yeah.
Because that's the culture that I'm building. It's
Yeah.
a bunch of, you guys are all extremely talented. That's
Right.
why I hired you.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell me your thoughts. And she said, I think you're being too careful. Yeah, I think you're being too careful with your words. And I was like, oh, you might got me. You might got me on that one, you know? And I really had to think about that. Like, well, what is that? Because I'm like Miss Authenticity, you know? So like, what is that? And really sit with it, because it's not so much about like attracting the right person. Like, I'm good on that. But I realized that I was making myself wrong about things. So you know me well. And for people who do, I have a trucker's mouth. And that is just the truth. That is just the honest to God truth. Now I do it. I feel like I do it in a way that's very elegant and dynamic, you know?
Yeah.
But it really gives emphasis, you know? And
you have passion.
I have passion.
You have passion.
So what I said to her is, I said, I think what I'm afraid of is I'm going to get off on a topic. And once I get going, sometimes I can't. I'm going.
She's like, I'm there. I saw the bus stop. I am on the bus.
I am on the bus. And once I get into it, like, until I'm done, you're probably not going to shut me up. And I'm fearful, right, that I might get a little too spicy. And she said, any of the women that we serve have an issue with that? Nope.
Yeah. But
right, those are my people. Like, my people are the spicy badasses who are out here not letting anyone tell them no, making their own table if you won't make space, and they don't give a damn about my 4-letter words.
Yes. Preach.
Right. So it's like, to your point, it's like, we're not all going after the same person.
Yeah.
And there are some people that I make very uncomfortable with my presence, you know, and it's okay. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. It's just that alignment piece, right? So I think kind of what you're getting at here is, we don't need to compete with one another, because what's mine's mine and what's yours is yours. And I'm going to celebrate that, sis.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely learned that in the last, within the last year, I would say too, with my design business, is like, our client avatar has, you know, we had one, and now it's really drilled down deep, right? Like, we are for the professional that likes a great service, wants a beautiful home, loves detail, doesn't want to do all of the things, right? They trust you. Just like your clients trust you. You're like, this is the plan, right? I'm coming in with the plan. This is what you tell me you want. I will get you to the end.
Yes.
In peace, and saving your marriage or your relationship with anybody that lives in your household, because it's hard. So that's really something that has been even more apparent, of like, the clients that we have at the moment are X, Y, and Z. Here, Aubrey and team, take this over. Obviously it's a collaborative process, but it's like, if you really want it done right, it's a lot of details. Somebody the other day said building a house is over 3,000 decisions. And like, could you, like, if you were to build a house right now, would you? No. You'd be like, Aubrey, do the thing.
Do the thing, girl.
Yeah. Because that's also like something that I've learned in this process too, is just like, I have so many great women and people surrounding me that like, I don't need to know how to do that. I need to know enough about it. But I don't need to execute it. I need to know enough to check in, know what's happening, get the answers, come back. And then otherwise, like, we're moving on.
It's so true. It's so true. And I'm sure you've probably seen this. I feel like what I've seen, but what I've also experienced, right, is there was a time in my journey where I was chasing success, or at least what I thought success was. And I achieved it because that's what I do. If I make a goal, I typically hit it.
Yeah.
And I got there and I looked around and I went, oh my God, I hate it here. I hate everything about this, actually. Right. And I think what really stood out to me as I reflected on that was like, I guess by society's measure of success, like it hit that. But what I realized was I really wasn't with my people. You know, they were making money and they were making shit happen. But they weren't really worried about impact. You know, they weren't really worried about how does this decision affect my community? You know, how does this impact larger society? You know, what can I do to make this a positive thing? It's just, you know, what do the shareholders get? I got, and it just robbed me of my soul. But what I found was that when I found my people and I got around my people and I just didn't even have to think about any of that stuff, my confidence grew because they got me, right? I wasn't trying to
like prove anything
or translate myself or be what, you know, I think I'm supposed to be as, you know, an executive of a 9-figure company, right? Like, or representing a private equity portfolio. You know, it's just like, there's all these things in your mind, these expectations that come along with that. And I mean, I could play the part. I played the hell out of that part, you know, but inside it was really affecting me in ways that I guess I just didn't even realize. So I wonder from your perspective, like, what do you feel like women might misunderstand or not piece together around confidence and how that affects the work that they're doing?
I think it's a lot of what you tell yourself and how you feel. And I have definitely noticed that. Like, it's okay to not have all the answers at the moment. You know, it's okay to feel a little nervous. I think when you're really in that zone of your specialty, the words flow.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I realized one day I was talking to a client and I could, all the words, I've said them a million times, we're building a new home. And I'm just like, okay, and then this is going to do this and this is how this is going to work. And I could literally zone out while I'm speaking because I knew the words were coming. And it's like when you practice your craft and you are the authority on something, it just comes and people will feel that.
Yeah.
And I think there is also the perception of like, you feel like there's going to be this feeling of readiness.
Yeah.
And
like I've arrived.
Yes.
No.
Of like now I'm ready to book all the, 6-figure speaking gigs. When really like it takes the one to get your foot in the door. It takes time and time again. Like I think about even speaking at our retreat. And that's something like a skill that I had been working on. I've grew up in the public speaking realm in 4-H of like my mom would make me do all these things. And one was public speaking. So I wasn't necessarily scared to do it. I knew I could be better than what I was. And, we have footage of me speaking to our group at an event 9 years ago and my body language was crap. And, now I'm tweaking it, but I'm not severely critiquing that girl because she got me here.
Yeah.
But you just have to do it and see what works for you.
Yeah.
And just keep going. And I think that readiness of somebody's like, oh, I'm not ready to do that yet. Just do it.
Yeah. You're probably never going to feel ready.
Yeah.
And then when you do, something bigger is going to come along and you're not going to feel ready for that, right? Like, just get used to not feeling ready and doing it anyway.
Yeah. And it's fine. Like, I'm like game tape, right? Like, I'm a sports girl. So I'm like, give me the game tape. Let me watch something, how I did it, what did I do, and how can I fix it for next time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that if you just give yourself some grace and just show up, like you'll do it.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's my son and I, my 18-year-old and I were sitting down this morning. It's Ramadan, so fast starts real early. So we were both up at 5, getting our calories in. And we were having this amazing conversation. He had this kind of aha moment of, he said, you know, one of the things that I noticed is my son, ready? So brace yourself, right? He said, about 80% of the time I'm right.
That's a mindset.
And it's fair. I mean, he is. He is. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He said, but what I noticed is the 20% of the time that maybe I don't have it like all the way figured out, what I noticed is that I kind of take it as like an attack on my character. Like if someone points it out and, you know, we were having this conversation about like one, that awareness as an 18-year-old male.
Insane.
I did my job.
Yeah.
Like,
good guy.
amazing.
Yeah.
You are going to make some woman very happy. She'd be very lucky. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Just this, we were talking about like, you can't take yourself too seriously in life, you know, and I think that is, if I look back, I've made a ton of mistakes. I've screwed up a ton of stuff, you know, it is what, and I am wildly imperfect, but that kind of like, you know what, it's okay. Like, I don't take myself too, I'm still a work in progress, you know, and I would say there's probably a time in my life where maybe I threw my flaws out too fast as a way to kind of protect myself, right? Like I would kind of tell people like, hey, I'm rough around the edges. So if I cuss you the fuck, well, I can't say fuck. Oh, we'll cut that out, Scott. Right? If I cuss you out, then you're just going to then expect that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not the one, right? So I used to do these things that were kind of like self-preservation type of behaviors or deflection or like a pre-defense, right? And as I've just gotten comfortable in being like, no, like I don't have that figured out yet. Like, or I'm still working on that. And it also creates this space, right? Where now you can be like, you know, I'm working on something myself and give me your thoughts on this and give me your feedback on this. So it creates this one when we don't take ourselves so seriously. Life's real short. So it's like, don't bother, you know, it removes all this pressure. And I feel like I've learned how to love myself more. And then as a result, it's really helped me to have real authentic confidence, you know, and not just the stuff that you made up. But along that path, like you mentioned, you know, it is this personal development path.
Yeah.
Right. It's like us constantly working on ourselves. Like, oh, that fell through the cracks. Why? You know, are my systems not tight? Did I take off early? Did I overlook it? Was I not organized? Right. So you get to kind of look at how that fits. And then as we go through all of these changes, there's tolls on our relationships, whether that's positive or negative or maybe neutral. It could be neutral too. But I wondered from your perspective, like, how has leadership affected you relationally? And has there been those types of impacts where like you're going through this growth process and now maybe the relationship doesn't feel aligned anymore because you're a little different, right?
Yeah. I've definitely had that happen with, you know, some close people in my life. And it's also sometimes you have to be a little selfish and know like this is the path I'm going. Not that we all have to be on the same page,
right?
But like I am moving and I am moving fast. And if you have, it doesn't even need to be like you're also an entrepreneur. But if you understand growth, wanting to be a better person, wanting to be a better human, then those are the kind of people that kind of stick with me longer.
Right.
And we stick with each other. You know, from my perspective too, I have also purposefully found other relationships of women that are in the places that I want to be, that have larger companies, that have more money than me, that, you know, now I have one girlfriend who I needed a new financial advisor. And I was like, I know she is so smart. And she would have done all of her homework before she picked somebody to work with. Why am I going to interview people when I'm just going to ask her, who do you use for this?
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, work done, cheat code, next. You know, because why stay in the mud longer than you need to be?
Absolutely.
And So definitely just, surrounding yourself with those people. And if you don't have those people, my other cheat code is to find them on a podcast, right? Like if you want to have a better mindset, listen to Mel Robbins every day. Right. Listen to whoever motivates you. Maxwell Leadership, love their stuff too. Like those can be your best friends. They can be in your ear every time you're in the car instead of, something negative on the radio. So that's something else that I definitely try to do and make sure that any relationship is two ways. Like I want to be sure that I'm providing value for other people, resources, comfort, anything like that. So I really have been way more introspective about that, especially since I've had my son, because I've seen all the sides of all the things now. So, giving people grace, but also sometimes, things just change.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. I literally, we were just talking about this earlier today, was like, sometimes it's just complete. The relationship is complete and it doesn't have to be anything negative and it doesn't have to be anything bad. Like you served me and I served you and I have absolutely no hard feelings. And I pray to God that you don't either, because I release you with so much love. But I almost feel like there's like this, we get like attached, and then when we detach, or it's time for our past to kind of go whichever way they're going to go, a lot of times that can really be met with negativity, and it's like that really doesn't need to be the case. And I think if you're just a mature human being, like you can honor that, where it's like, no, I want to provide value to the people in my life, and I want to receive value from the people in my life. And if where I'm at now, because this is the other part that a lot of people don't really talk about, but as you do go through those seasons of change, I know for me, there have been like these periods where it's like, I had all these friends and now I have none. Yeah. And now I have all these friends and now I have none. Right. And I had to just be okay with like, okay, well, we're not aligned anymore. Like that's just the truth, and truthfully, I'm going to take accountability for that, because truthfully, I am not the same person in this friendship as I was when it started. And I can't hold your feet to the fire that you want this version of Stephanie that close. I might make you extremely uncomfortable, and it's like, I have to just be like, this is part of the cost of growth. Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that comes with that is it's time, right? It's time. Once you look back as far as like, oh, you know what? That happened 5 years ago. We're happy. These are the paths. And it's like, it's okay. But in the moment, it's hard.
And in the moment it is.
And it's tricky and it's difficult. I feel like everybody goes through that, right? Yeah. It's like going from your high school friends to your college friends. Then you get married. Now they're both there, right? You don't know. Are they going to like each other? Are they going to hate each other?
Then you have kids.
And then you got
everything changes.
Then there's moms.
Yeah. Whole thing.
I know. Right. So this is the evolution. It is the evolution.
Right.
I don't know that there's always a perfect way.
Yeah. But, agree.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you still learning? What are you still working on?
So I've done a lot of identity work.
I love that for you.
Yes. I have really been trying to dig into like specifics of creating the ideal life of what I want my life to look like. Also not an easy task. And I am like, I want to do the thing. I want it to be done and it's perfect. And now we move on to another challenge. And, it's ebbing and flowing. But I'm like, if I'm going to work this hard, I'm going to work this hard for a purpose, for an end goal. And I've also learned a couple years ago, like I learned that I truly probably didn't have all the support in school of the way that I was learning. And my brother was somebody that was given all the support in the classrooms. And because I was doing good enough, I was just swept along. I had good grades, but like, was I actually learning anything or not? Because now I look back and I was like, oh, I didn't catch that. Like I got to college and I felt like I was unprepared for certain things. And I was like, a couple years ago, I just finally realized my learning style is that I need to hear it. So like if I want to really read a book, I need to listen to the book and then I need to buy the book and I need to like highlight the book if I'm going to go back and read it. So I love the book Profit First. Have you heard that?
Yes. It's a great one.
So I listened to it. I was like, okay, I got it. But now I'm like, what? I'm just supposed to, all this information supposed to live in my head and I need to execute this?
Yeah.
No way. So then I bought the book. Now I don't have to read the whole book.
Yeah.
I go back, I tab it, I highlight the thing so I know like, okay, this was step 1. This was step 2. So obviously it took me way longer, but now I remember and I know what I'm talking about and I can easily reference it and go back to it. And I was like, that only took me 36 years to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, why aren't you reading this book fast enough and understanding what you're reading? I was like, my reading comprehension is crap. Especially like in a setting where it's like, read this now, write an essay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a creative.
Right. We don't
Excuse me.
do that.
I know. I'm like, I used to take a regular class in college and the book was like this thick and it's like read 200 pages in a night. I was like,
How does anyone do that?
like people do that?
Oh my God. I was one of those readers. I don't know. It's called something, but like you can move your eyes over the words for like pages. I mean, like 3 pages. And I realized, oh, I checked out like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about something complete. My eyes are going over it,
Yeah.
but like I'm not
Right.
even paying attention to this. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane.
But I love what you're kind of getting at, which is like understanding what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody is not the same. I know like one for me, like one of my big things when people are like, how do you stay grounded? How do you manage stress?
Yeah,
How do you?
yeah.
It's the gym for me, baby. Like I got to get in that gym. I got to pump some iron.
Yeah.
It's so good for me. I know other people that are like the thought of going to the gym like makes them nauseous. So
Yeah.
it's about understanding what works for you, you
Yeah.
know, and then just do what works for you. Like we're not
Yeah.
in school, right? We're not indoctrinated. We don't have to do it the way everybody else does it. You get to figure out what works for you, baby girl, and then you just go do that. Like nobody has to know what's going on in the
Yeah.
background, right?
It's so funny when you actually realize that too. Cause like I would be doing something and I was like, I do this because somebody taught me to do it this way, or this is what the options are. I wish I had a really good example, but then I'm like, well, who said? Like who said I had to do it that way? Like right with the gym, who says I have to wake up and go to the gym in the morning?
Right.
I could go at 2.
Right. Go whenever you want.
I could go at 10. You know what? Let's go crazy. It could be the morning one day and the evening the other. Like, you know, and I think, and that's what I like as far as like working for yourself.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. I've got a deadline tomorrow. I'm probably going to be up till hopefully only midnight. But my husband is a first responder and he had to go to work today. And therefore, you know, I had to take my son to the dentist and school. And there I lost, I don't know, 3 hours of time I could have been doing something. Am I glad that I can do that? Yes.
Of course.
Am I going to pay for that later? Of course.
Right.
But you know what? Like, I'd rather be doing that than me telling somebody I have to take my kid to the dentist and them telling me no. Like,
Right.
could you imagine a grown person telling me I can't take my kid to the dentist?
That would be a problem. That would be a problem.
Right. Especially when you're used to answering to yourself. You're like, I'm sorry. Did you tell me I couldn't go on that vacation?
Yeah.
Because statistically, I'm taking less because I work for myself.
Right. Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love kind of like, it's interesting because as we've chatted today, I'm like, oh, I see so many themes of just giving yourself grace, like letting that flexibility come in, like doing it your own way, doing it in the way that works for you. Mm-hmm. And as we wrap up for today's session, just as a final thought here, like you have this beautiful vantage point. You've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women who are building businesses, starting businesses, executives. What do you think that women really need more of to really achieve the success that they're looking for?
So I think it's a couple things. I think it's definitely community. I think that is probably the most important.
I agree.
So when we first started, we called ourselves a networking group. Because what other names were there?
Right.
Like, I don't know. That was your choice, really. Oh, you network. Okay, great. But since then, when we kind of rebranded, we are a professional development community. Will you network? Will you have collaborations? Will you meet fabulous people you want to work with? Of course you will. But we're not in an environment where you walk around and hand out your business card and somebody hopes you call them. We have a strict no do that rule.
No.
But I think that the community is so helpful. And I think that especially new people in business, a lot of younger women that I've seen too are like, even if they're out of high school, out of college, wherever, and they're like, my friends all work 9 to 5. They don't understand why I can't go to this thing. And to have other women to be like, I get it. Here, offer advice, offer examples. And then another thing too is like what I think women really need is access to capital, but not in an investment type way.
Come on, girl. This is a whole
I know
hot button for me, but go ahead.
You need to know the people that have the businesses that can offer you a $10,000 sponsorship.
Yeah.
You need to be in the room with those people. You need the women who have built multi-million-dollar businesses. You need to be in the room with those people so that when an opportunity comes up and they're like, oh, I know Ashley, she's just starting out, but you know what? This would be a great opportunity. Let's bring her in to outsource this thing for our company. And just being in the circle and having somebody who, I know we do this for each other all the time, is having somebody mention your name in a room of opportunity is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get to the next level, is to know the people that have big budgets, big access to educational resources. Anybody that has more access to you than in a certain area, you need, make sure they're a good person and you like them.
For sure. Vet them
obviously.
thoroughly.
I'm not saying at any cost, but that's really what is game changing, because somebody will mention your name. Like if you're a photographer and somebody needs somebody for a magazine photo shoot,
right?
And somebody's like, oh, do you know so-and-so? That's how connections get made and how you move faster. Another cheat code. Move faster, quicker, is to meet the people that are above you.
Yeah.
And try to soak up as much as you can.
You're nailing it as always. And there's this beautiful African proverb that I am reminded of that has just always struck me, that I think embodies this so well, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I know in my experience and just kind of what I've seen is, and women since the beginning of time, right? We gather. That's what we do. We thrive in community. We thrive in that support, in that security. And what I've really loved to watch in this season for women is, I always say women are creators. We're creators clearly by nature. We're manifestors by nature. And we have been doing this for all of humanity, for men historically, and I have no ill will against that. The thought that I pose is, what if we created for one another? What if we pour just a little bit of that energy into one another? Because you can reciprocate creation, I can reciprocate creation, and what we can create together is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for creating this space in Rochester for women to grow and thrive and have that collective and that community to support them. And thank you so much for being here to share with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Move your body.